This is my new Chargriller charcoal griller. It's a barrel style griller. I got it. I put it together yesterday. Fran bought it for me last week. Sucker's heavy. It says it weighs 39 kilograms. That's 80 something pounds. I believe it. It's pretty well made. I mean, and it went together pretty good, except for these miserable wheels. They're just thin plastic, and I don't think they would hold up real well. But it's not going to get rolled around very much, so there's supposed to be some caps to put on the end, but they were pretty cheesy, and I broke one of them following the directions where it said to pound them onto the hammer. And I don't know. I don't think I'm going to do anything with them. I think I'm just going to leave them with no caps. I don't expect to run it around a whole lot. One of the things that I did is I got on the internet and looked around, and the reviews of the grill are pretty good, except everybody hates the wheels. And they are really cheesy. I guess you can buy some Harbor Freight wheels and put on there, and that's what a lot of people do. One thing I found was that there's a nub on the back side of this wheel. I don't know if you can see it. Plastic piece that comes out from the back of the tire that keeps it away from the frame. And I initially put them on backwards, of course, with the nub on the outside, so the wheel was rubbing up against the frame and wouldn't turn at all. So it wasn't that great. This has a side vent. I ordered the side firebox attachment to put onto it, but it hasn't come yet. It's supposed to be here in 10 days. So basically what they do is they sell you another grill that you can bolt onto the side here, and that way you can have a side firebox instead of a direct fire, which I like the idea. I took these hooks off of the old grill, put them on here. They work just about, well, they work pretty good. They don't quite fit. I had to pull them apart a little bit, but that handle there hanging is next to my scrubber is just something I found in a box, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I realized it was for lifting these grates. They're cast iron. They're heavy suckers, and really this is a pretty heavily made grill. It's got some pretty serious sheet steel in it. The instructions claim this side tray is wood, and it gave me 3 hooks to screw into the side, but it's actually metal, so I don't know what I'm going to do with the 3 hooks. Pretty cheesy anyway. Another thing people complained about on the internet with this handle, I can see why. It's kind of cheesy. It's odd that they would make such a nice grill and then put cheesy handle on it and these kind of tires, or wheels. This is nice. It has an ash pan that hangs in there so that the ash pan takes all of the heat, so it doesn't, the frame of the barrel doesn't have to be. Yeah, it's got a smokestack on it. It also has a thermometer in the top. This is another thing that people on the internet complained about, that it doesn't work very well, and I can see why it doesn't. Of course, it was out here in the sun, and it said 100 degrees inside, and it's starting to warm up, so it probably isn't quite as hot inside there as what it says, but it's not too bad. Another thing people on the internet mention is that it's painted, and you have to repaint it periodically. I see smoke coming out of it already. I'm going to let it smoke for a while. I'll let it run for a while and burn off some of the factory oil. It claims that it's an approved vegetable oil that they put on there so that you can season the grilling surfaces, which are cast iron. I don't know what the heck is going on in there. Anyway, it's got a warming surface there, and you know what? I think I put that on upside down. I did. I put that on upside down. Wonder if it's too hot to change. I think I can change it before it gets too hot. Sometimes you can't win. Oh well, I'll have to put that on back up the other way, because it definitely is on upside down. I didn't think much of the way that mounted, but it seems to work. It's just a couple of screws that hold that top piece in. So, all in all, I like it. I think I'm going to follow some of the suggestions I saw on the internet about putting a couple of good thermometers in it, and if the wheels annoy me enough, I might replace them with some better wheels, but I think for now it's fine. I don't intend to wheel it around much. Now, it's been running for, I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes. It's gotten up to about, I don't know, 200, according to the thermometer. I don't think it's quite that hot. Maybe 175, I think. Allegedly, the box, or the manual anyway, or the box, I don't remember where I saw it said that it was an airtight lid, but I can see a little bit of smoke escape in there. That was something else I saw on the internet on some of the reviews. But really, you know, I'm not too concerned about it being having a little bit of smoke escape here and there. If it matters, I can get some kind of gasket and seal it up, but I'm not too worried about it right now. I'm not sure what you're supposed to do with it, but there was a curlicue piece that came with it that was sort of obscure. I'm not sure what it's supposed to be for. It looks like it's for hanging something. I thought maybe it was for hanging that little handle, but I couldn't figure out any way to make it work. But there was an odd note about hanging a tin can under your grill to catch the grease droppings. There's a hole under it, which I guess is for the grease to fall out. There was one extra piece that came with it too. There's that, I don't know if you can see it, there's a side plate there where that vent is, there's an extra piece of that. There's that metal piece that's bolted in there. There was an extra one of those in the box. Not sure what it was for, but that piece is going away anyway because I'm going to bolt the side fire box there. So all in all, I think it's a pretty well made grill, and I think it was only $100, so can't hardly beat that. A few minor quirks to it. My first attempt at grilling will be some hamburgers. It takes 20 quarter-pound hamburgers to fill it up. I might even be able to get a few more in there. I put some cowboy charcoal on top of the briquettes that I used to season it. And then I put some mesquite chips on top of it to get some smoke. So we'll see. It says it's, I don't know, 210 or something. I thought I'd try an experiment. I put some hot dogs and brats up on top. They call that the warming shelf, but it's probably warm enough to cook. They're already pre-cooked anyway. Looks like some of these need to be turned in the middle. Obviously there's more heat in the middle. This is one of the things that something on the internet mentioned. Cooking the tube steaks up on top seems to be working pretty well. You see there's some flame in there when I open it up. When I close it, it shuts down. Well, grease does in fact drip out through the bottom. I got my garbage can, my grease can from the kitchen and put underneath there to catch it. You can see there's some on the ground there. Never had that happen with a grill before, but I've always had the kettle grills where the ash pans in the bottom, and the grease probably just goes into the ash can. This one, I think they deliberately let it roll over. Something new. Apparently, according to the thermometer, the remote thermometer, it's 87 out here. It's pretty warm. The thermometer on the inside of this says 275. The top of the grill gets pretty hot, but the bottom part is still, barely warm to the touch. Wilma was under the grill licking up the grease. I guess she liked it. Those grates work pretty well. The food doesn't stick to them. One of the nice things is you can pick the grates up, and it's easier to put new charcoal in, because I'm going to have to put some more in. Well, I've added some pork steaks for Fran. She likes them. After I added some charcoal, which seems to be catching fire, guessing from the grease. So I'm going to have to close it. Pretty handy having this lid that doesn't have to be taken off and set down somewhere. Now I've added some salmon. A lot easier to segregate the foods on this kind of a grill rather than in the round one I had before. There's Creaky. She's out here looking for treats. I don't believe it's really close to 100, but it's up over 90, I think. This is chicken breast. Fran got these at the grocery store and marinated them overnight in Paul Newman's Italian dressing. And they just go right there on the grill.